willing to die to wash your shirt. It's just commonsensical that there is something, there's a hidden agenda. Why do people kill, maim, to go and serve us? Politics is a major enterprise. It's big business. It's not about service. So why would I want to...
It's not about service?
No, it's not about service in Nigeria.
What is it about?
It's about 90%, because you know the first time I flouted the law by painting everybody, because I know that I've wanted to be a governor, and if my motivation was not greed, then it is wrong for me to think that I'm the only Nigerian. There are several Nigerians who are coming into service, but this is the new culture we're trying to promote. There's been the old culture where politics was big business, where the godfather, you see, there have been two problems in internal democracy. Problem number one is that a man honestly wants to contest the presidency. He knows he can't go to 1, 2, 3, 4 big parties. He is really convinced that he has something to offer. So he takes a little party and starts to work on it and builds it over the years, invests, does everything, and all of a sudden there is the prospect of that little party, and it has become a major talking point, you know, on a national scale. So what do? The big man just sits down and watches and waits and makes a lot of money available. On the day of nomination, you talk in terms of, or the primaries, you talk in terms of internal democracy, which says that one man, one vote. This man that has built this party over the past 5 years, who wants to be the presidential candidate, if he subjects himself to the internal democracy, this guy comes over within a week, he just buys out the delegates and picks the nomination for that party. So the question is, what can the man who has invested over the years do? Nothing. If you look at a man like Macron,
laws that protects him?
Yeah, unless within the party substructure there is an endorsement of this is the person we want to have, and there is that understanding. I remember when we were building YDP, you know, some people say, you know what, if you can guarantee me the ticket for Anambra State, I can take up Anambra State and build from the beginning. And I had a problem with that, because in our own constitution we came up for the first time to say it's going to be electronic voting, one man, one vote. That was where YDP started from, and it gained so much momentum. But we saw a weakness in that very laudable venture, because we're funding the party. We didn't have money to fund the party. It was just beginning. So the question was a dilemma: how do we maintain internal democracy while being at the same time honest and sincere, and avoid hijacking? Hijacking is just a major, unless we put in the constitution that unless you have been a member of the party for a certain number of months or years, you cannot stand, you know, which some parties try to do. But even with that, because of our fundamental foundation of insincerity, you discover that, and again being impoverished, principles become so easy to bend. So investors just wait for the dying minute, and they come and they hijack the system using internal democracy mechanism. We really need to go back and really look at all these models to come up with the fact that there are 46 parties.
What happens to the? What happens to the? Is there any hope for the newly okayed parties? About 5 parties okayed by INEC that were registered. Is there any hope for them to survive?
Let me tell you, they actually, if they are smart, they actually hold the future. I'll tell you this. I'm very sure that we're going to have about 5 parties, strong parties. 5 strong candidates, and they are going to belong to 2 groups, A and B. A is going to be principally 2 parties, APC and the PDP. Then B is going to be amalgamation of the new generation parties, so that there's an old order, there's a new order. If any of these parties can come up with a certain ideological standpoint that, number one, works on honesty, sincerity, justice, and number two, looks at the youth as the people that you should give what you call responsibility transfer, not power shift, responsibility transfer. So they put in place mechanism where we can fish out the youngest and the best, the brightest, because there's a lot of very good, well-meaning young people who are doing extremely well, okay? If a party can come in and run on those principles and say, look, these guys have been about money, it's been about fighting, it's about deceit, we are coming in to be very open, we are coming in to be very transparent, and we're going to put our focus on service to the people, so that we are willing to even come in and do a legislation where we realign the pays of public office holders.
Well, to shock you to know, to know that
yes,
the APC also started as on that level, but you had people crossing over from other parties to the APC, and they were welcome. Is that part of the problem?
You see, APC, PDP are exactly